psychicexpo.com. MadX is Wisconsin's biggest Comic-Con, and don't forget Twin Cities Con is coming up in November. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to twincitiescon.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low of 68, then Thursday partly sunny with a high of 86. Cafe Latte is unlike any restaurant you've ever experienced. Grab a tray and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. Cafe Latte, Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul, or cafelatte.com. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us on this special Wednesday evening. It's special because of our guest tonight, as we will get to in a second. It's really one of my favorite times of the week, month, every other week. I love doing this, and we're going to get into the second. I just want to say also hello to Adam out in Eden Prairie tonight. Adam, I was just outside taking the garbage out, and it's still warm out there. It's still, but it's one of those warmths that is it's a very pleasant warmth tonight.
There's still an outside world. I've been in here since like 11:45 today, so
that's your problem.
I didn't know the outside still existed. No, I did step outside a little, probably about an hour before the show started, and it still felt great out there. It absolutely did.
And I tend to complain about the station.
Never.
Yeah, never. And it's always a little too cold in there for me personally. It's like on days like today when it was like 3,000 degrees out, I'd have to come out and just be outside for a second to warm up because it's chilly. The one thing that works in that building is the air conditioning. That's for sure.
Yeah, and especially in January and February as well, the air conditioning works great in here.
Yeah, but it keeps out the snakes. So, that's the main thing. That's the main thing out of all of this. Tonight, we are very excited because, as usual, every other Wednesday, we are very happy to bring on psychic medium, Refined Divine. Deb is joining us tonight. We're doing one-question readings. And as usual, when it comes to one-question readings, want to invite you to call in 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205, where you can ask her a question. You can also put it in the comments. The only thing that we ask that you don't talk about tonight is politics or any sort of medical advice or legal advice. That goes both ways. If you have legal advice for us, we don't want it. And if you're asking for legal advice, we're not going to give it. So just please keep that in mind, but have fun with it. It's always enjoyable. It's always great to have Deb on. And Deb, welcome to GhostBox Radio. How have you been doing?
Hi, Greg. We're having a fantastic time at the Northwood State Fair this week. So that's exciting.
We're already in that time of year, isn't it, where the state fairs are going on? And where is that located exactly?
This one's in Chippewa Falls. Chippewa Falls.
Okay.
And we're actually in Building C. If you guys do want to come out and see us, we are in the air-conditioned building, the only air-conditioned building on the grounds. I have a spot there in that beautiful building, the air-conditioned one.
That helps a great deal, doesn't it? And we were just talking. I was just talking with Chad, the owner, talking about the Minnesota State Fair and talking about there's a number of buildings at the Minnesota State Fair. I mean, they go back to the beginning of time as well. And I think only like one or two of them are actually air conditioned. And we have this massive grandstand, and the part with the bleachers is massive on its own, where they have at least about 400 vendors in there themselves. And that's not air conditioned as well. And it's like you get into that August weather, and boy, it's warm there. So stay hydrated, folks. That's all I'm gonna say. My goodness.
Oh my God, we were in the air conditioned building last year, and there was no way IW was going to stand for that this year. So we went in and talked to the office, and we got our way.
Well, yeah. I mean, does that have an effect on your ability to, well, I mean, to not only want to give reading, but on anything at all? I mean, I'm sure it does, and it doesn't.
God, yes, yeah. Your body's uncomfortable, right? Because that's your vessel, and so when you're streaming energy through your body and you're overheated and you're hot, I'm already at high octane temperature when I'm channeling. You know, I'm already hot, and then you put 100 degrees on top of that. That's not a good combination.
No, we don't want spontaneous combustion. That's, you know, that's, we really don't. And you know, honestly, to be completely honest, just not even on that level, but all these levels, folks, you gotta take care of yourself in this weather. I mean, you have to stay hydrated. You have to, and I'm not a big fan of water. I'm just going to be very honest about it. Normally, if you're watching the stream, you're seeing me pumping, you know, pop in me, which is totally not healthy. But you know, you gotta, you know, hydrate. You gotta take care of yourself. Because if anyone's ever had heat stroke of any kind, you just know that it's not a good feeling, and it could get bad real fast.
Yeah, I actually had a heat stroke when I was a child, Greg, and that's why I'm so susceptible to the heat. Once you've had it, you're always susceptible. And
once again, folks, if you want to get a question read by Deb tonight, you can put it in the comments. You're more than welcome to do so, or you can call in 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. That generally always gets you to the front of the line. I'm going to say, Deb, I was out in New Orleans back in my days of working at Best Buy. I would go out there once a month, and we did some community service out there, and it was working at, I think they call their big park is also called Central Park or something like that. And I'm just doing my bit, and somebody comes up to me and they're like, I think you need to rest. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was like an 89 degree day with a lot of humidity and whatnot. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, I think you got heat stroke. And I like looked at myself, and I think I was like purple, you know, I think I was like really like red and purple and all that stuff. And I'm like, my God, you're right. I do. Oh my God, what happened to me? You know, it's just really, you don't know either when you're just kind of like doing your thing, and next thing you know, either you just drop or whatever. You got to be very careful in those situations.
Absolutely. It's nothing to mess around with. It really isn't.
No, there isn't. You know, we don't have any questions yet, which is kind of odd. And I don't know if with my stern warnings about legal and medical, do you think I'm scaring people away? You think that they're just like, well, I was going to ask about my broken arm. You know, I just, what's going on here? I don't know.
I feel like everybody got overheated today, maybe, and they all decided they want to go to sleep.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, imagine like doing like your show from your bed or something. That'd be ridiculous. So, I mean, I have over here. You can't see her, and you might have heard her. My cat Puff. She's very vocal, and it just has like kind of like the lungs of an opera singer. She just you can hear her throughout the house, and it's always sad when you get the sort of the sad meows, like the you know, like, well, what am I doing wrong? Are you alive? You know, checking sure that she's still breathing. You know, I just like, because he's like, I'm not used to those nuances yet. You know your animal when you have them long enough, or in your case, the herds of animals that Dave has acquired over the course of like, the last few weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg. Dave now has taken on feeding all of the strays of Galesville. So he's put up cat boxes on the side of our shop, and he actually hired somebody to go out and feed them when he's gone. And so we have a whole trough of food that we feed to the kitties of Galesville now. And so now we're just rescuing everything, but we're not allowed to bring them in the house.
I mean, are you also feeding the crickets and the worms and the? I mean, it seems, why stop at animals? That's my question. I mean, I suppose that's more of a question for Dave, but he's probably asleep. So, once again, folks, we're doing one question readings with psychic, medium, refined, divine. You can put your question into the comments, or as Angie has, you can call in 952-946-6205. We have Angie on the line. Angie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about you, Greg?
Doing very well, thank you. You have a question for Deb?
Yeah. Hi, Deb. You guys can always count on me. Does my dad have anything new to tell me?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just had complete interference on my end when you were speaking. I don't know if you heard it, Greg, but on my end, I had an undertone talking when Angie was talking, and that was very much your dad. That was pretty cool. Could you hear it, Ange?
I could definitely hear the interference.
Because it's not happening now. It's not happening now, but it did happen when you started talking. Yeah.
Oh, he's always with me.
Yeah, it just happened again.
Yeah, it did. And I was going to ask you if is this a common occurrence with your dad? That is it more than just like phone lines? Is it other forms of technology as well that he kind of breaks into?
Music. I always get music from him, and I'm pretty sure he throws bungee cords on the road too.
And he's still talking. Adam, are you hearing that?
Yeah, I heard that too. After she finished, there was a afterwards in a deeper tone that definitely sounded like a male voice.
Yeah.
Although that's not who he was when he was living. Yeah, but he says that he loves to do it now. Like, he very much more on a love frequency and more happy and more of that person that really loves to communicate now.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
cool. More communication now than living.
Yep, I have a bigger relationship now that he's gone with him.
Very much. And he just said yes, and I heard interference, and it was really loud. Yes.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's very cool, Angie. That's super awesome.
I would really love to take this tape and take the dub it down and listen, and we should be able to hear him, and we'll ask Greg if he can do that so that we can actually hear your dad's voice, because I guarantee you'll be able to hear it in this conversation, in this tape.
Yeah.
That's wild. Am I right about the bungee cords, since I mentioned that?
Could you say it again?
Am I right about the bungee cords on the road?
Yes, absolutely. He's giggling.
In the comments,
you try to grab them off the road.
Oh,
because he would like to pick up free things.
Yeah, my dad was the same. Danielle in the comments says, "I'm pretty sure I heard that's right." While you were talking, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love this.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, and thank you to Angie's dad for joining in the conversation tonight. We always like to hear from Spirit as well. Trust us, we really do. So that's fantastic. That was fun.
I always get super excited when they actually come through the phone too, and that happens a lot, Greg, when I do Zoom meetings. So when I'm speaking with people, and just like this, like you and me tonight on Facebook, when I do my Zoom meetings, I'll have Spirit interfere, and I can hear their voice. When they're talking, they'll be talking with them, and I can hear it, and I can hear it. So I always get super excited when that happens, because it's so much verification for them to feel that interference, to hear that interference, and they'll be like, now listen, you'll hear it. And they'll talk, and then they'll be able to hear the words, and they just bawl and cry, and it's just so amazing.
That is great. And in the paranormal realm of things, that's called ITC, which stands for intertransmental communication, and that is when you are getting spirit communication from an electronic device. And so that it's a very and that's one of the areas that I love about paranormal investigating. So when you're getting something like this happen, and you're getting spirit coming through that way, that it's the best. And then Angie also says he's in my aura photo as well. So it's great when you get someone close to you that they don't let go, that they still with you, and that's definitely the case with Angie. That's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I call it effing around with electronics. That's my verbiage for it.
You don't call it ITC, you call it effing around with electronics.
Effing
Okay,
around with
well,
electronics, yeah.
what whatever works, quite frankly. I mean, that's totally makes sense. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I got a question for you, because we're gonna go to break here in a second, but and then when we come back, we have Doug. That we have a question from Doug, but I want to ask you. Like, for example, Angie is very blessed. She's getting a lot of communication. There's still, as she said, it's even better relationship now, a stronger relationship.
Yes.
How do we foster that? How do we make that happen? Because I bet there's a lot of people listening right now who are just like, oh, I wish that my so-and-so would come through like that. Is there a way that we can project that onto our loved ones so that we can grow that relationship more?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked. And so my classes, that's exactly what I teach, is how to open yourself up and how to align yourself with your true self. Because when we are okay with just staying inside of ourselves and inside of our vessel, and not always going on the exterior looking for forces to tell us that we're right, or that what's going on out here, and we stay inside of here, our psychic abilities are stellar, and our energy level is so high. And Angie now has been working on herself for a little over a year and taking my psychic development classes. And so she herself has become a beacon, and she now does readings. She's taken my mentorship, and she does readings, and she's very gifted. And so that beacon has been growing and growing and growing for Angie. And so now she's become this beacon and this attraction for everything on the other side. And so the simple version of this is to work on yourself and self-love in alignment with who you truly are, and alignment with you, and then it will just come out just like this. Be able to speak with the other side and connect with the other side so much easier. Aww.
I just thought with Puff being right over here that I would lift her up so you could see her. So I was listening.
She's so pretty.
She's a cutie, aren't you?
Oh, Dave, look. Oh my God, she's cute.
Dave is like, I have 1,000 of them at home. I don't need any more.
We have 3 in our house that we've rescued. They were all cats from the streets that we tamed and took to the vet, and they live in their best lives. So we love to rescue.
That is fantastic. Folks, we are doing one question readings tonight with the one and only Refined Divine, Deb, tonight. And put your questions into the comments. You can give us a call, 952-946-6205. We're going to be doing this for the entirety of the show. So please put your question in. As you saw with Angie, it's pretty cool, and I love it. And we are also going to be giving away tickets to the Hidden Brain in the next segment. There's a show this Friday at the State Theater. We have a pair of tickets to give away. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot to do. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refinedivinepsychic.com.
All right, let's give away some tickets right now. We have a pair of tickets for the Hennepin Arts event, Hidden Brain Perceptions Tour with Shankar Vandentum. I practice, and I still get it wrong when it's actually on the air, and I am no good with pronouncing names, but it's Shankar Vatantum. And that's on this Friday, July 11th. That's coming up this Friday. The show's at 6:30. It's going to be at the State Theater. The Hidden Brains podcast brings 7 key insights from the first decade of Hidden Brain to the stage. Whether you're new to the show or a longtime listener, this evening of science, storytelling, and change will change how you think about yourself. I actually had not listened to the podcast before we started advertising them on the station, and I listened, and it's very, very interesting. Well worth your time. We're giving away 2 tickets now. Please call in if you'd like to get those tickets, 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. Adam, if someone calls in, we just need to get their name, phone number, and email address, please. So we're doing that. And we are doing one-question readings tonight with Psychic Medium, Refined Divine. And Deb, you are at the State Fair in, did you say Northwood? This whole weekend?
Northern Wisconsin, Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Yep.
Okay, that's very cool. And it's out there all weekend, so people should come on out there. And you have the whole store set up, and then you're doing readings.
Yes, we have the whole store set up, and we're doing readings, and we're also doing 50% off all crystals in the shop for this weekend. So come on out. You can't beat those deals.
That sounds really good. Now, also, we talk about this every time, and my November is filling up like rapidly fast. And I was talking with Chad about some events, and he's like, "Well, hold on, what about the cruise?" Because he thought that I was booking events over the cruise. Heck no, I'm doing the cruise, and I'm making room in my stomach for all the food I'm going to eat. How's the cruise going? We still have some places available, right? To
still have some spaces. Yep, we have about 15 spaces open to sell. And so if you guys would like to join us on the cruise, it is a 6-day cruise out of Galveston, Texas, and we are going to Progreso in the Maya Ruins. It is going to be amazing. We're going to Cozumel, one of the most beautiful beaches there is. 2 days of that cruise, we're going to have a spiritual retreat teaching you how to tap into your psychic abilities. And so the rest of the time, we're all going to party it up and live our best vacation life. And Greg's going to be there doing GhostBox. And we're going to try to do that right from the Maya Ruins. So why wouldn't you want to be there in person?
Yeah, no kidding. That's going to be incredible. And that's going to be, if I have my dates right here, the 17th of November through the 21st. I think I'm correct on that. So it's something like that. Deb, am
Mine
I
too.
am I keeping you awake, Deb? I just want to make sure that you're okay over there.
I just did 12 hours at the state fair, man. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's quite the day.
I know it is quite the day. It's crazy. People are putting in a lot of long hours just in general. I feel like our poor Adam over here at the station, he basically has a room here now for himself. And
Oh,
you know,
I'll be honest, I don't work this much. And so when we do the state fair, it's a lot, being there for 12 hours. So we were there for 13 hours today. Yeah, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., 13 hours today.
now I just want to let people know, if you're interested in the cruise, if you're interested in classes, if you're interested in knowing where Deb is going to be. Also, a quick reminder, one question readings are not full readings. That you really want to get full readings, you want to go to refinedivinepsychic.com, and you go there and you can see everything, including more information about the cruise, about everything else that we're talking about here. And you do want to check it out because it's fantastic. We'll be talking more about that throughout the program. Also on Facebook, Psychic Medium Refined Divine. Go and like the page. You're going to be able to see very quickly all the locations, all the shows, everything that she's going to be doing this year. I've been talking with Deb about a special project that we're hoping to get off the ground. So once we get some more information on how we can make that work, we want to share that with everybody as well. So lots of good things coming up. One question readings now. Once again, put your questions into the comments section and we will get to them. Anyone who calls in will be put to the front of the line. That's 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We go to Adam on the phone lines right now. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, Adam. Do you got a question for Deb?
Yeah, I've been putting off calling because sorry. My
okay.
dad passed away this year.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so he made a transition well. So right away he comes flying right in at him, talking about how you keep ruminating through your thoughts about how the ending of his life and how that kind of went down, and the time not spent and the time spent. And so he wants you to reassure you that he made a really good crossing over, and that he rest assured that he is very happy, and he is just taking this time right now to kind of process through his life, and that initial getting over there and just really kind of getting to be there and going through that life process and that analyzing. And so don't think that he's here just not giving you signs over and over and over anymore. It's because he's cycled back in now, and so he is of the eternal light. And so when they do that, sometimes there's just a little bit of time, Adam, where they're not accessible or as much in our space as they once were. And so he wants you to know that it's not that he's not in your space, it's that he does got a lot going on with the process of going into the light.
Oh, and I've felt him quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's never easy. It's been 10 years since my dad had passed, and and I think the truth of the matter is it doesn't go away. It does get easier, but it becomes more of your way of life now. This is the new normal. In the term of that a parent is gone, but it's here getting the gifts, knowing that they're there. At least speaking for myself, that makes things good, because that they're still watching and they're still around and they haven't left us.
I got a tattoo today with a little reminder of him on me. So
that's beautiful.
Would you mind sharing what the tattoo is? Or, I mean, if it's personal, please don't worry about it. But
no, it's fine. We're both Scorpios. Our birthdays were 3 days apart, and so I got the Scorpio symbol with a scorpion and his birth year and to 2025 on it.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Adam, I hope that you're able to, grieving is important, and owning those emotions. And I hope that this was helpful in some way for you.
Yes, it was. Thank you both.
Thank you very much, Adam. Really appreciate the call. And that's I tell this story often, Deb, of like when after my dad had passed away, I went to a location in over in Minneapolis. I was going to do a paranormal investigation. I was talking to some people. It's actually the place where my parents had their wedding reception back in 1964. And the guy there is a Polish guy, and he's just like, and I just said, yeah, I just recently lost my dad. And this guy who is a lot older than I was, he just kind of stops and he looks kind of in the distance, and he's just like, yeah, he goes, I lost my dad about 30 years ago. He's like, this is 30 years ago, he said. And he's like, I'm still not over it. And that was sobering. And I don't mean to say that to scare anybody, but it is a reality that, and I think it's a good thing that you don't forget that he was clearly fond of his father. And he's like, yeah, I still, and I thought to myself, this is 30 years on. I had lost my dad like 2 weeks ago at that point. Those are things that are, the reality of it. And this was before we would, like in my life, having someone like you that can kind of direct us a little bit, help us course our way through some of these difficult times. And this is where it's so important to be able to reach out to you to get some help and some solvent and just feeling good, because sometimes it doesn't feel good and you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important that the mediums are recognized, prophets, mediums, people that can go to the other side and bring these messages through. And it is that every single one of us have some abilities inside of us. And like Adam said, he said, I felt him. He's around all the time. Well, because he too has that feeling inside of him, right? It's like all of us have this knowing. And so it's just about us recognizing that. And it does really help us get through our grief. And that's the biggest thing I always love to teach people is how they can know and how they themselves can connect with the other side so that they can have that sense of peace too, not just when they're speaking with us and not just when they're getting readings. My biggest piece and my biggest takeaway is teaching all of you how to have your own connection too.
Right. And I think that's really important. I mean, it's good to be able to lean on you, and there's always going to be a reason to lean on you for stuff and to talk. But I mean, you showing us ways to connect for ourselves. It's very powerful, and I would recommend people who always wonder how to do that, and just don't just sit there thinking, yeah, that would be nice. I always kind of wondered about that. Do something about it then. It's life. Yeah. I can say it firsthand. It's life changing. So yeah, you want to be able to do that. We're doing one question readings with psychic medium Refined Divine Deb. Once again, if you want to do full readings or anything else, and check out our website, refineddivinepsychic.com. Go there, check out if you want to get a full reading, because there's probably a lot more that and Adam, do what you need to do, but there's probably a lot more that Dad wants to say as well. We're going to the comments now, and let's see here. Michelle says, what is the best course of action for me right now that will lead to peace and happiness?
Michelle, they're saying to us that there's a lot of exterior stuff going on right now, like a lot of noise and chatter when it comes to other people and other people's situations and other people's drama or like their life stories and involving you in that. And so they're talking to us about remembering your boundaries and saying no and setting boundaries and just really being stern with that, even if it is family.
Mm-hmm. You got me when I was drinking water, and I am drinking water. That's the main thing. That's the main message here. And so that makes sense. Michelle, let us know if that resonates with you. I forgot about Doug. I'm so sorry, Doug. You probably were drinking some green liquid. Let's see. That's at least he was the last time I saw him. Doug asked the question, do you have any messages from my grandpa who has passed on?
It seems to be that Doug, your grandpa, taught you a lot of different things, and so he's just kind of being humorous right now about what he taught you and how and who and what you are now, and how it is huge for you to continue growing the things that were taught and sharing those with your kids and the generations to come.
There you go. That's pretty cool. Doug, I hope that resonates. Let us know if it does, because we're just always curious. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. If you want to, you can call in if you want to know about a pet that has passed as well, and do pet readings. If that's okay, Deb. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn tonight. I don't know.
No, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah, we're good. Whatever. Anything on the other side. Let's do it.
Anything on the other side. Sounds like a great T-shirt that Dave could wear. Anything on the other side. I don't know. Let's get one more in. What were you going to say?
I was going to say he was wearing a shirt just the other day. It says, "I'm Deb's favorite," and then today he wore a shirt that said, "Anything you think about me only says only
what you say about me says more about you.
What you say about me says more about you."
Well, I always say he's a saint. So, I guess I know where I land in this equation. So, right. Let's get one more in before we take a break, and we have one or two more. And then anyone who wants to add their questions in, and you can also call in 952-946-6205. Stacy asked the question, do you know what psychic gift I might have, if any?
Sure, Stacey. Right away when I tap into your energy, very emotionally driven and so empathic, feeling others. When others are in your presence, you're very sensitive to their energy, and like walking into a room, you can feel what's going on. And so that's a healer inside of you. That prana energy inside of you running through, very much a healer. Also a lot of intuitiveness. Thinking things before they happen, or just kind of having that knowing a lot when you were younger. The belly stuff that you used to have when you were younger, they talked to us about how that was more your psychic gifts than it was illness. And so they're just saying to us that there's so many gifts there that can come to fruition. And so, yeah.
That's very cool. And at the risk of sounding like a shill, but it's important to say at this point, for those of you who wonder what kind of gifts you have and then want to take the next step to try to develop them, that's exactly what Deb does. And Stacy says that is so true about feeling people. Thank you. So you do want to check out Deb's website and maybe take some classes and figure out some stuff. And so many people I've talked to have been very happy with working with Deb and partnering with her. So please consider it, because it really is for your own. It's for your own growth and for your own getting to where you want to be, basically. So
it's on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:00. The first class is always free, so you can just send me a message and I send you the Zoom link. You guys can always try it out, see if you like it. If it's something you like, we can talk about payment and talk about what that looks like. I do have 29 practicing students now doing their own readings, psychic mediumship, tarot cards, runes, all different ways to communicate with the other side. So that's a pretty astronomical number. I've only been doing mentoring programs for 2 years, and I have 29 active students. Now, it takes a lot to pass my test at the end to make sure that you are, who you want to be, and that conduit to spirit. But I'll tell you what, if you really dedicate your time to being authentic and having those real messages come through, and making sure that you are a conduit for spirit to come through accurately, my classes, my mentoring are definitely for you, because nothing stops us. If you're dedicated, I'm dedicated, and we'll get it done.
And I love the idea too that the first class is always free, because sometimes you'll go in and for whatever reason you might be like, oh, this isn't the right time for me to do this, or the right thing to do, or whatever else. And that's I really appreciate, because that really helps people. I think helps people authentically decide what they want to do. So
yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's about. Just come try it.
So why don't we do this? Let's take a break. When we come back, we have some more questions that we want to get to. If you haven't put your question in, do so now, please, or give us a call, and we will get you on to talk to Deb, 952-946-6205. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to have author Tim Rayborn on. We're going to be talking about his book, Northern Mythology, Tales from North Finnish and Sami Traditions. It's a great conversation. You'll want to check that out. And then Friday, of course, is Casual Friday. And we'll be talking about like noteworthy news from the week, as well as if you have any ghost stories or anything you want to share with us, plus question of the week. We are talking with psychic medium Refined Divine Deb tonight. We're doing one question readings, and it's always it's so beautiful, Deb. It really is, because we get people who are of all different kind of makeup, if you will. You know, they're in different stages of their lives. Different things are happening with them, and they're, you know, each one of them are coming to you with some sort of hope for some sort of either answer or, you know, just being able to have some kind of you know, a completion to their story. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I want to share a story that was just this last weekend at a fair. So we had a fair in Rochester, Minnesota, and this lady had walked up to my booth, and she had a daughter with her, and behind her was her passed away husband, and I could tell the two of them were very depressed. They were just so sad. This barely like even functioning, and she looked at me and she said, "I'm really drawn to you." And I said, "Oh," I was like, "That's because I'm a psychic medium." And she says, "Are you doing reading here today?" And I said, "Unfortunately not. I'm only doing the group sessions, because at my shows I just do the group sessions so that everybody else there can get readings, because if I did readings, everybody would just come to me. That's not fair. So I just do the group sessions." And so I invited them to my group gallery that I was having, and she said that she had just lost her job and that she couldn't afford it. And I said, "Oh, good Lord, that's fine." I was like, I'll go get you the tickets. I'll get you the wristbands. It's fine. I'll cover it. You come on in. It's not about affording it to me. It's about you get the help that you need.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they came in, and it was my gallery and my sound healing. I gave them tickets for both. After my sound healing, the mom pulled me aside, and her daughter wasn't with her, and she said, "I have a confession to make to you, and I feel like God's really pushing me to tell you this, and I don't know why, but I'm going to share this with you." But she said, "I plan to commit suicide tonight."
Wow.
And I planned that this was going to be it. This was going to be the night. And after coming here, I have purpose again. I can feel. She says I have more drive in my body and my soul that I've had in years. She said I haven't felt like this in over 20 years. She said I feel like I can function again. And she was bawling so hard she could barely stand up. I had to like lift her to her feet, and I was hugging her, and I was like, "I'm so happy that this experience for you, and it's just so good." And I mean, just so much beautiful, miraculous miracles taking place almost daily. I mean, the stories upon stories. People tell me I should write a book about this stuff, and they're not wrong. I probably should be.
Yeah.
But it's just remarkable what's happening with my abilities and the lives that it's saving.
That is beautiful. And I just want to, if I may, I'd like to piggyback on that for a quick second.
Yeah.
Why I want to do so is because when I tell people I do a paranormal radio show, and they're just like, "Ooh, spooky, ooh, this, ooh, that," and it's fine. There's a place for all that. But what the stuff that you just told me is the area that I personally gravitate more towards. And when I started in the field, my area was like the spooky stuff, the stuff that might, that has like the tales of real true darkness and stuff like that. But as time goes on, you realize that there is for those of us who can feel energy, which is everybody, but who can actually take it and feel it and can take it to use it to help people the way that you're helping people, the way that I use Spirit Box to help people. There is a form of responsibility that we end up taking on, because people need us, and people need people, but people need the folks like you, and if I may, to me to extent as well, and others who can help and put aside the fact of, and because I see so much money grabbing in this field sometimes, so to be able to be like, no, what really comes down to it is, without even someone saying it to you up front, you could see that her and her daughter desperately needed your help.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that they even showed up, Greg, was an absolute miracle. Like they didn't even have a car. Their car was broke down. And so they had asked somebody just to drop them off. And it was in high hopes that they would be able to schedule with something with me for the future. And so all of it just in divine alignment, and just so beautiful, and just so thankful that they got there that day and a life was saved, and so much greatness coming from the things that we're doing.
Absolutely. That's such an amazing story. I thank you for sharing that with us. We are continuing on with one question readings here, and we can put your question into the comments, and we can get to them. Otherwise, you can call in 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. And I do want to say, for those of you who are unsure if you want to call in or put a question in at all, basically just what Deb had said there, it doesn't have to be to that far extent, but anything could be something that clicks, that makes a drastic change for the better in your life. And so definitely don't hold back, please. And then also, I'm just going to say, if you feel it's more personal, that you don't want it on the radio, and that's understandable, that's where you want to go and check out refinedivinepsychic.com and schedule something and get something figured out. So Nicole, she has a question. She goes, "Hi, Deb and Greg," which I see missing from there. "Hoping you can help set my mind at ease for the night. One of my managers is leaving, who we are finding has been pretty toxic behind the scenes for quite some time. To make long story short, are the current staff in that department going to be okay, or am I going to have to lose some of them due to what she's saying to them?" Well, maybe to start with, say hello to everybody, not just one person. But Deb, do you need me to read that to you again, first of all?
Yeah, I'm just going over it. Okay. Nicole, when I look into that energy, it looks like that we have some following. So it's like, but here's the thing that they want you to know, that spirit wants you to know, is that nothing is happening by chance and there's always divine intervention. And so if they walk with her, we need to be grateful that they're walking with her, because they are of her energy. And so would just be so grateful that, you are watching them walk out that door, so that we don't have to have this behind the scenes toxic energy, because there's more toxic energy behind the scenes than you're aware of, Nicole. There's a lot of really messed up stuff, things going on. I can feel it, I can see it. And it's maneuvered by her, but they're in compliance with it. So they're liking it. And so that's why that they'll be leaving with her. And so just understand that everything is not good or bad, but our choices. And so if they're choosing to go, they should go. And so that you can replace them with somebody more in alignment with you and the purpose and what you're all doing there.
Yeah, no. And there is nothing worse than that sort of poison in the
Mm.
workspace.
Oh God,
And
it's just like a rotten apple. You take a rotten apple and you put it in a bushel of apples, it'll start rotting all the way around. Humans are the same way.
yeah, totally. Totally. And I had spent a great number of years in I mean, it could be any work, but corporate in particular. And when I stop and I look back at that time, which is a great deal of time in different corporate entities, you find that there's a lot of similarities to high school. It's like shocking how it's like people actually don't grow up. People say grow up
I
and stuff.
worked in this, Greg, I worked in the school system, and I'll
Oh,
tell you what, there's so many teachers that still act like they're in middle school. It's scary.
and sometimes when you hear people who have grievances and stuff, there's times that those grievances are legitimate, but then there's also times that they're legitimate and you try to fix it, and there's no matter what you do, it's just not. It's like it's time for that person to find something new, because it's just clearly not going to work. It's far
Yeah,
too far
and that's
gone.
why it's happening. That's why we're getting, I call it the sandpaper effect, or the
Yeah,
nails on a chalkboard effect, right? Like if somebody's supposed to be moved from that space they're in, things will keep happening to make that happen. And we don't want it to get worse, right? Because
yeah,
it will. If something is not frequency aligned with the group that it's in, they're going to have circumstances that will keep taking place to remove that energy from that group of people, because it's not aligned any longer. And maybe at once it was aligned, but that person changed its choices and its thoughts and who it was. And so it's no longer in that frequency. So things will happen. So, like, there might be a fight, or there might be something stole, or there might be something said, or, all kinds of things to disturb the energy, to push that energy out. But as employers, because I know, because I'm an employee, I employ people, you don't want that disturbance, and you don't want to have to rehire people, right?
yeah,
And so you
yeah.
kind of try to keep the peace, but here's the thing, the peace will never be kept, because once the disturbance has happened, it's going to keep happening, because it's for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up too the energy, which is very important, because sometimes that energy changes when you get new leadership in
Oh,
place.
absolutely.
And
It's mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, I'll be very transparent. The last place I had been at, that had been there for 14 years, that was my issue, that there was a change in leadership. It's not their fault. I put it more on myself, because I tried. I wasn't connecting. I wasn't vibing. They were going in a different direction, and she was the leader there, the manager. She was able to get pretty much everybody following that direction, and it wasn't a bad direction. It was just different than what I had. And sometimes you realize that you're being, I don't want to say left behind, but I don't mean negative like that. It's like you're either
Yep.
going to fall in, or you're not. And if you're not,
Yeah,
then
and you're going to be led into something new. Like you wouldn't be doing
yeah,
this if you would have stayed. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Like there's something better for you. There's something different for you. And so always accepting that as the path to your next success. And
yeah,
so we have to trust those signs and those symptomatic things that are happening to us, because they're all for a reason, for a divine alignment. And once we start trusting those things, I'm telling you, miracles take place.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes things might take a little bit longer than you think they should, but it gets there. You got to have that faith for sure. And
the more faith you have in yourself, the quicker it takes place.
Absolutely, very much so. So Nicole, I hope that helps. And it's any sort of toxicity in the workplace is very difficult to have to maneuver through. You are going to be out there all at the state fair at that state fair all weekend, right?
Until Sunday at 5. Yeah.
Sunday at 5. Folks, come on out and check it out. Let's see here, Nicole, just really quickly. She says, you're right. Everything happens for a reason, and it'll turn out as it should. I know that, but just yuck to deal with negativity. Absolutely. Yes, very much high school mentality with people who are 40 plus years old. People don't grow up. Adam, did we have a winner for Hidden Brains?
Yes, we did. Samantha from Maple Grove has taken home those tickets.
Oh, well, congratulations, Samantha. Very happy. I hope you enjoy them. And then once again, folks, I cannot say this enough, and you probably get tired of me saying it, but it's helped many people. Make sure that you go visit refinedivinepsychic.com. Going there, you're going to learn how to she offers a lot of things. Just go there. Would love to see you on the cruise as well, because there's still some room left, but that's not going to last forever. So you'll want to get that taken care of. I'm hoping that Dave is still with you, that he's not out there looking for more animals to rescue. Hopefully all that's good. Deb, as always, thank you so very much. I hope you all have a great weekend out there too.
We will. Thank you so much for having us on tonight.
Oh, love having you on. And in fact, you're going to be on Tuesday as well, unless you're too tired, doing some talking about experiences and stuff as well.
No, I'll tell you what, since we left that group that we were with most recently without names, we are full of energy.
That's fantastic. Folks, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night.
Hi, it's Matt McNeil.